Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another match of the Mario Kart 64 No Skips Grand Prix tournament. I'm Matthias, your commentator who guides you through this hopefully exciting match tonight between Brian and Kyle. We are at the end of the group stage during the last few matches before the double elimination bracket will start next week. And this is potentially a very good, very nice match because until yesterday, these two guys were tied at 40.5 minutes with their PRs for the no skips category. So they are really close in skill level. And although Brian improved last night to 40-12, which I just have been told, Kyle is not rusty at all. He practiced as well. He has practiced, and it should be a really, really close match. It's the first match for Kyle, who is actually a substitute. But yeah, very welcome to join the tournament. And he will do all his group stage matches. And on the other hand, Brian already pulled out two upsets in his group, beating higher seeded rivals and players. So he managed to win 2 matches he played so far. So he should be full of confidence and of course has to hope for good RNG. So players are currently warming up and we will start very shortly. Okay, I'm currently waiting for the players to confirm that they are ready to go. We play one race through all 16 tracks, all 4 cups in succession. That's the no skips category without any glitches and shortcuts. So it looks like Kyle wants last practice start. Everyone will progress to the double elimination, by the way, so we are very friendly in the group stage. It's like a warm-up match, warm-up phase for every player, and then it gets more and more serious. But the main intention for this spontaneous tournament was to have fun matches, give everyone at least 3 in the group stage, mostly 3 in the normal groups with 4 people, and then have the double knockout. So Brian takes his time now. He wants to start the speed gaming Twitch stream, he said, so he can follow the race. And if both players are ready, I will count them down. Oh yeah, Brian is playing on the Japanese version, yeah. With a few small differences. But yeah, both are ready now, so the match is about to start. So I will try to do my best to synchronize these two. There we go. And the race is on. Both have the start boost. Both play with Yoshi actually. So Luigi Raceway, the first track is very simple. In both, get a green shell. It's a fair competition, and both fired almost at the same time, backwards. That's better because you can't get hit by your own green shells if you fire them backwards. So they don't have to pay attention anymore to these. Car goes into the sand a bit. That's the 0.08 difference for now. So you have to be careful where you drop these items to get new ones. Of course, you are looking for a single mushroom. That's the best you can get in first place. Both had to dodge a CPU item there. A fake item on Brian's side and I think a banana on Kyle's. So in front of the tunnel is the main spot for the CPUs to drop items. If you don't know, they can't throw shells in this game. Brian, yeah, just a bit behind now. Kyle had the better second lap. Kyle has to watch out for these greens, but yeah, he fires them at a good angle to the side. You can't fire the triple greens backwards. Brian doesn't get anything off the boo. So it's the close race we want to see. Of course, this is the easiest track. So Kyle is leading by about half a second, and what comes on top of the races themselves is the menu now. Both hold down the start button and mash the A button to get as fast as possible through the menu. Okay, on to the second track, Moo Moo Farm, where Kyle missed the start boost. So Brian took the lead again, but just barely. Kyle has a boo, which is the best item after the mushroom, I think, on Moo Moo Farm, because he can go safely through the molds without any risk of hitting one. The molds are random in this game, so you have to watch out. At best, don't go over any hole. It's really close right now. Almost the same spot. Brian has a mushroom now. He spins out. Oh, and he hits them all. That put him in an awkward place. I think Kyle was risking a bit. So he took a nice line and got through without any hits, so very well done. Brian has another mushroom. Oh, Kai goes risky. So does Brian. He had 2 shrooms but hit 1 mole. And that cost him about 0.7 here. But it's still very close between these two. So we move on to the third track, Hooper Trooper Beach, where you can go for an item manipulation glitch at the end of lap 1 and 2. Theoretically lap 3 as well, but it doesn't give you anything for the race. So let's see if both will go for it. First, I'll mention the tunnel jump, which comes up now. Ooh, Kyle gets it. Not the clean jump, but he corrected his line good, very well. So now they pick up an item here and try to stop the item rotation right behind, next to the finish line. Both got an 8th place item. Unfortunately for Kyle, it's a lightning. Brian had the optimal star. It's the best you can get there. So there's a polygon where the game thinks you are a lap behind. So you can, if you stop it correctly, get an 8th place item. Brian goes for it again. Unlucky this time with a red shell. Oh wow, Kyle got the double lightning. That's unlucky. He did nothing wrong. Just had no good RNG. He gets a single mushroom at least in first place. Okay, both got the tunnel 3 out of 3. It's an intended way, so it's allowed in no skips. And Brian got the best out of his star. Moves ahead, gains 3 seconds here. Last track for this first cup is Kalimari Desert. Both players have to watch out for the train, and depending on your pace, you might need to wait before it on lap 2, unless you go very risky and go through the small gaps of the train wagons. It's a bit easier in 150cc because you have more speed, but I doubt that these players will go for it. I hope they will, of course, but it's very risky. Especially in a race where you only have the one try. So Brian arrives there first. He slows down a bit. So does Kyle. Yeah. The gain would be quite small because these players lose just a bit on lap 1 compared to top players. So it's not really worth it. But they have to watch out for the other trains later in the run. Kyle is just a bit behind, a couple seconds, but he has a mushroom. Okay, last train coming up. Brian has to wait just a bit. I think Kyle didn't have to wait, he was a bit slower and he had the mushroom, so he just almost caught up. Very small difference now. Both players will instantly reset their console at the end of this race. Yeah, both with very, very ambitious resets. Oh. Little trouble in the menu there by Kyle, I think. Alright, but it's still super close between these two. Kyle misses the start boost. So it was less than 2 seconds before the race. Would say it's about 3 seconds now. Special note about Toad's Turnpike, the CPUs don't take the item boxes here, but they can still use items, so they don't have to drive through here. Through the item boxes they never do. But they can still throw bananas and hit you with a lightning if you're really unlucky. It's quite common to and normal on average to get hit by a lightning once through these 16 tracks. But everything above is bad luck. Of course you can get lucky and escape without any hit. So both have to carefully maneuver through the cars here. Oh, Kyle went very close to the truck. And at best get rid of the CPUs behind you. They are usually rubber banding, but it's extremely bad on this track and noticeable. Oh, Brian braked, but Kyle hit that same tanker. So Brian's time loss was not as much. He extends his lead a bit. He didn't get the best out of this room, but as long as he doesn't crash, he will increase his lead. Oh, Kyle spins out. Let's see how they deal the traffic in the end. because normally the traffic is the worst in the end, but it depends on your speed. It's not that bad here. Maybe thinking of time trials. Alright, so that was a good track for Brian. And we move on to Fraps Snowland. Brian with the AB spin start, but overturned a bit. Kyle did it a bit cleaner. So about 5 seconds difference right now, which is still not much. Whoa, Brian! He dodged the first snowman, but that led to a different route, right through the middle. And he spins out, wow. That brings Kyle into the lead again. So as I said, 5 seconds is not much. 1 or 2 mistakes, or a combo mistake, like what happened to Brian. And almost 6 seconds lost on the first lap. And Kyle picks up a mushroom. There's one spot, usually we go for there in time trials, where you can gain a lot of time, which comes up now on Kyle's side here. He didn't cut as much, he went very safe there, but it still gained him a bit. If you go very risky, oh, he spins out. If you go very risky on the shroom, you can get stuck there at the top of the hill. Very close race right now. Both cut this turn a bit, which is useful in 150cc. Who takes the lead? Oh wow, I can't tell. Maybe 1 frame difference, but I couldn't hear any stream being in the lead. Who has the faster menuing? It's Brian. Brian takes the lead in the menu. So maybe half a second difference. And we are on Choco Mountain with no fence, no guardrail to save you on the part coming up right now. So you have to be careful after this left turn. Watch out for the boulders. And now watch out here to not fall down. You can get awkwardly stuck on the right wall and then get thrown to the left again. And now that we're on lap 2, these guys have to watch out for CPU items. Both have a very nice item, the boo, to protect them. So yeah, that's the banana, and Brian doesn't want to spin out. He uses his ghost. So he has to watch out now. Empty road for both. Kyle uses his boo now. Probably wants to have a mushroom, a speed item. Oh, there's the mushroom for Brian. He went through the boulders. Uses his mushroom now. Whoa, that was close to the edge. And he gets another one. Okay. Good race from both. Brian with 2 mushrooms gained 1.2 seconds on this track. So a bit more than 2 seconds in total, I think. Or maybe just below. It's really close. Yeah, it's less than 2 seconds. So both should go for as many item boxes as they can, because the mushroom is very powerful here, gains you a lot of time. There's the mushroom for Brian, but the banana bunch is very awkward. You don't want to just drop the bananas all over the place where you will go again on lap 2 and 3. So understandably and a good decision, he keeps it for now, but should use it on lap 2. Kyle uses a boo. Oh wow. Not the common spot for Brian's mushroom. Of course he gained time. The optimal way would have been to wait a bit longer and then cut through the grass and the sand. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, maybe just triggered it a bit too early. I think Kyle had the better driving, because they are neck and neck. Second reset coming up. Kyle definitely caught up here. I don't know if I missed any item. Definitely well driven by Kyle. And Brian with a faster menu again. Oh, thanks Jake. Yeah, so Kyle had a mushroom. I missed that. He must have used it better. And he missed the start boost again. So just by better menuing and the start boosts, Brian has the advantage again. Alright, so we are into the second half of the run. The longer half with quite a few tracks which are long. Second longest here right now, Warrior Stadium with many hills. It's quite technical, especially at this speed, NTSC 150cc. You have to leave out and sacrifice a bit, leave out some MTs you would normally try in time trials. And this track has quite a few tough combinations of hills. So you have to be very careful if you slide over to not get sent into the wall and tumble. What happened to Brian, to Mario during Brian's race? I think he is a lap behind. Usually when CPUs get stuck for some reason and you pass them again, then they will drive on, resume their race. Oh, Brian hit the banana. It cost him a lot of time. And they are almost tied again. That banana before the U-turn was evil. So Kyle is just in the lead. But it can change on any turn here. Whoever takes the turn tighter will go into the lead. Oh wow. I can't tell who's ahead. These two guys surely deliver. I was expecting a close race, but this is as close as it gets. Brian hits the wall, but not too bad. Small time loss. Only bananas. Brian is slightly in the lead again. By just a bit. So it's a bit more comfortable. Oh, the green shell. I don't know if it could have hit him. A bit more comfortable with the lines here and MTs. Final turn coming up, and Kyle has a mushroom. That should bring him right back. Oh wow. I think I would guess Kyle is in the lead by a frame maybe. Awesome race. It's anyone's game. Brian with the faster menu, they are tied again. Faster by the smallest margin. So we move on to Sherbet Land. In my opinion, one of the more difficult tracks for a race. In a one-try scenario where you can't afford a big mistake. If you fall into the ice water here, you get an ice cube animation, so you will lose a lot of time. And watch out for the penguins as well. Kyle with a nice jump, better cracked jumps in general. Almost gains half a second. Brian left out one MT to easily pass the penguins there at the entrance. Oh, Kyle bonking the wall a couple of times. And so Brian takes the lead again. Oh no, Brian hits the penguin but makes sure to stay on the track. That was important. I think he was even braking to reduce all the speed he had. So after the spin out he made sure not to travel further. Kyle hits the walls again, but Brian does too. So yeah, that penguin hit will be the main difference for this race. So nicely done by Kyle. He gains more than 3 seconds on this track, which is also the total difference between these two now. Oh yeah, loading times could be slightly different. I don't know exactly. So about 3.5 seconds difference. So yeah, maybe the Japanese version is slightly faster over a whole run. I'm not really sure about that. Oh, Brian had to abort that MT and hop a bit to the wrong direction before that U-turn. If the players here get a mushroom, they would use it there, most likely. It's the best spot to do. Oh, Brian, no! Oh, he was correcting his line and left the track at the worst spot, where there was a steep downhill right into the river or the lake. So that's a big time loss, and now he has to catch up, overtake the CPUs again. So I think he got another bounce there when he entered the road again. Have to be careful there. He doesn't get anything in second place, that's unfortunate. If you are really lucky, you could even get a star in second place, but Brian only get a banana bunch. Okay, Kyle cuts the turn before the ramp. It's a bit faster to do that with an MT than going on the road if you do it in 150, and Brian has the mushroom, uses it good. But yeah, that tumble into the lake cost Brian a lot. So I think that was the biggest mistake so far and the biggest difference. About 10 seconds between them on Royal Raceway. And we come up on Bowser's Castle. Often the most chaotic track of the run. If you hit a thwomp once and you don't know the cycles very well anymore, it can be very, very frustrating and you can fall back behind the CPUs. It's usually the track where most carnage happens. Nice banana from Kyle to get rid of Toad. So it's about 13 seconds difference. Both with clean laps so far. And Kyle even has a mushroom. He will probably cut the first turn here on the grass. He does. He goes on the right now, between the wall and the thwomp. On 150cc you get 3 guards here, 3 thwomps blocking the way. Kyle slowing down a bit, very carefully. Can also spin out here. Spin out easily by turning too much. Oh, Brian spins out. There was a double banana, so not much he could do. There was almost no space to go around. Kyle enters the last lap and has a boo ready, which is very nice. If he starts it at the end of this room. Oh, he saves it, okay. He does it now to be safe here. Still good. So it lasts long enough to cover 2 rooms, but he came through anyway. Wow, that banana almost caught Brian, and there's the spin out. It's a bad mechanic in 150cc. If you turn left, right, and so on. If you toggle the stick too much, it can happen. And if you get any air, it's very hard to prevent. You have to get contact with the ground. So Kyle with a very nice Bowser's Castle. And onto Special Cup, DK's Jungle Parkway, the laggiest track. Look at that countdown. The traffic light. Insanely slow. So if you don't get a mushroom, but a banana like Kyle does, or a fake item, drag it behind you to zoom out the perspective and reduce some lag. It's about 13 seconds. So Kyle has a banana ready, which is the second best. If you get a mushroom in the cave here, it's very nice. Oh, he had to prevent the spin out. So now Brian has bananas as well. He could drop all but one, or take the fake item and go for a mushroom. I think his first lap was about a second faster than Kyle's. So Brian gaining a bit of ground here. Can be quite risky on this jump. Yep, Brian goes to the left. Both players are holding that banana. Kyle with a small time loss. Spun out but straight. Another 40 lap. Let's see if Brian can do another sub 40. He had the better pace on lap 1. Nice cave climb. Yes, another 39. Kyle with a good jump though. And Brian threw the fake item, which has no harm in the air. Okay, both holding on to the banana. Don't go for any mushroom. Reduce some lag. Kyle with a nice third lap. 2 minutes. Brian will gain a bit though. Yeah, about 3 seconds. Good race from both, but Brian even better. So difference should be about 10 seconds now. Oh yeah, and Kyle did the start boost on the laggiest track. So Yoshi Valley has many different paths. Kyle takes the second fastest, which is the safest. About 11 seconds between these two. So now he will do this hairpin jump, which is allowed in no skips. Brian takes the same path. Oh, has to watch out for Donkey Kong there. Both have a mushroom. Kyle used his in a very common spot. Probably Brian will go for it too. Yes, he does. If one of these get a boo, they will probably go the fastest way. Oh, Brian had too much air. It's better to slow down there a bit on the sharp left turn. Kyle with mushroom, but first has to get rid of the greens. Same for Brian, triple green shells and now the mushroom. So it's a fair race here on Yoshi Valley. Oh wow, Kyle got hit by a random green and Brian falls off. Must be at the hairpin. Yes, he gets put to the other side. But that's a time loss, a big one. And he needed Kyle to fall off. So despite the random green shell hitting Kyle during the mushroom, he gained a lot of time here. Difference had been 11 seconds. I didn't catch Kyle's time on Yoshi Valley, but surely he will extend his lead. Brian is still in the menu. Yeah, more than 19 seconds difference. So Kyle with the big advantage now. You can easily fall off here though, you have to watch out for bananas. Now that Kyle is on lap 2, he has to be careful. Bowser snipes himself with a banana. That's always the best if you hear the CPUs taking them out, taking out themselves. Oh, many bananas, but Kyle dodges them. Brian with a mushroom, that's a small help. Wow, that was close to fall into the bat house gap. Small help, but he needs Kyle to fall down. And it looks like Kyle doesn't do him this favor. He goes safe around the pillar there. No need to risk that, it's a very small reward. He gets a mushroom on top. 146 for him. And only Rainbow Road to go. It is possible to fall off there, but very unlikely. I could run a meme now, but I resist. Some people will know what I mean. Okay, Brian gains 1 second, but it's still a big gap. So Kyle has to go straight now, carefully. He got a bit of air, but he, I think, went for the so-called Tran style, or short Tran, where he let off the gas a bit and then pressed AAA to accelerate to the highest top speed. So 18 seconds between these two on the final track, which is the longest of the game. It offers a few chomps going around. So if you hit one of these, you lose maybe 2 or 3 seconds if you miss AAA acceleration. But yeah, taking into account that Kyle has such a sizable lead of 18 seconds, everything which is not falling off will be good. Of course, if Brian is risking a lot, he can gain a few seconds just by driving, and maybe by getting a few more mushrooms. But it's definitely Kyle's race to lose here. So let's take a look at the split. Almost 137 for Kyle. He stays in the middle of the road. There are a few more spots to fall off, but this is the main one where it can happen. If you turn a bit and get airborne suddenly. So yeah, Brian a few hundreds slower even. So difference stayed the same, but not now. Brian spins out into a chomp. So the gap increased. It's about 20 seconds at least now. So I will dare to talk about a possible win for Kyle, who prevented the spin out here and feeds DK with some banana peels. A possible win for Kyle would mean that Brian loses his streak of, or clean sheet, possible clean sheet in the group stage. He had 2 wins, 2 upsets against Zoki and kyleb30 in his group, who are ranked higher than him. And I think Kyle is ranked high in time trials, but they had a tight personal best here in no skips until last night, when Brian improved to I think 40-12 by 18 seconds. But that doesn't give him anything now. Kyle is onto the final lap and looking like the victorious player. And that outcome would put down Brian a bit in the seeding. Oh, a green shell. I don't know if it was backwards one. You can get thrown off the track here by a green shell if you bounce a couple of times, which is actually useful in skips. You do it on purpose there to get the lap skip. So the final long turn for Kyle. He will get a low 40, which is a new personal record. 40-12. That's exactly Brian's time. Brian's personal record. Well done, Kyle. He beats his personal record by 18 seconds to win this match. Congrats. and Brian comes into finish by 40:38. That's his final time, but yeah, that was a very, very nice race, I have to say. Very close throughout the first half and until I think Royal Raceway, where Brian fell off. And Kyle was just asking for a post-race interview, so let's see if they are open for it. Anyway, congrats again to Kyle for this awesome performance, getting an 18 seconds PR during a race. So he gets the first win, he's on the board. And Brian finishes his matches, his group, with a 2-1 score. And I will shortly wait for Brian to answer if he's up for an interview. Meanwhile, you can enjoy the credits.
Can you hear me, Matthias?
Yeah, I can hear you, Brian. So awesome race by you two guys. Carl, can you hear me as well?
Yes.
Okay, I hope this is also hearable on stream.
I think if you turn your desktop audio on, it should work.
Yeah.
Hearable stream.
I hear myself now. I hear myself. So yeah, you are live on Speed Gaming. There was a very nice race, very close from you two. Let's just talk a bit about the race. Guide us through it again. How was it for you?
Nerve-wracking.
How was it for you?
It was close the whole time, that's for sure.
Yeah, you surely delivered. We expected a close race, and it has been, especially until Royal Raceway was neck and neck all the time. I don't know if you saw that on stream. It was awesome to follow. Very nice race.
Sorry, I saw the end of each of the races, and I saw there was no more than like 2 or 3 second separation, so that...
Yeah, exactly.
Even more though.
So, how happy were you about your runs?
I can't really complain.
Yeah, getting your PB by 18 seconds must feel good.
MG too. Especially like the craziest thing was on Wario. I got 3 boosts, and I was like, "Can I get these on like Yoshi or something instead?"
Yeah, how was it for you, Brian? I mean, at least until Royal Raceway.
I felt like it was pretty solid, I guess, for a race kind of situation. I guess just that that final turn on Royal Raceway kind of did me in, but yeah, Kyle applied the pressure the entire time. So
what happened there, Brian? What happened? I didn't see it.
I was going for the I guess that MT after like you jump right, and then you're like in the grass for a little bit, and I went to do the MT, and I guess I angled it a little too far to the left. Like I barely like hit that brown area and just tumbled in.
Get into it. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, I went pretty far to the right on that all 3 times.
Yeah, I think he got a double bounce, so it was a bit unfortunate, and he couldn't save himself there. So yeah, that's when you started your lead, Kyle.
Say again?
That's when you started to get your lead, and you maintained it until the end, even extended a bit. So there was high pressure then.
Really, I didn't. It was separation after Sherbet Land, so that's when I started to try to hammer down, and I got a bit lucky that Brian made a slight mistake, but solid. Except missing 3 start boosts.
Oh yeah,
I missed like 3 or 4 start boosts.
that cost you. And I think people were wondering if Brian had a small advantage in the menu because of the Japanese version, maybe. I'm not exactly
so,
sure if
but I don't
there's a
think it's-
difference.
Can I just say that I was watching Kyle menu and it was a little on the slow side. You're gonna have to step up the menu game, Kyle.
Yeah, I
almost
noticed
selected-
that Brian gained a bit in the menu every time, just a bit.
I almost picked time trials or 50cc the first to reset.
Oh yeah, I saw that once.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to make sure I went slow and got it for sure.
All right, yeah. So anything you want to say in the end before we cut the stream?
We're tied again, Brian.
Yeah,
couldn't escape
hell of
me.
a race, man. What you did was pretty awesome for a race situation. So you definitely deserve the win. Congrats, man.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, even with those 2 or 3 big mistakes you made, like a 38 is still really, really solid. A 40-38 is really good. So
Yeah. So sub 40 has to happen for both of you guys.
yeah,
Keep
here's
going.
The next goal. Get some more start boosts, and it'll be
If
easy.
we keep doing leagues like this, it'll happen sooner rather than later, I think.
Yeah, you will both progress to the double elimination, so there are more chances to get the sub 40 during the race.
So I guess the last thing I want to say is that these races do actually help a lot with like the nerves, because instead of racing my PB, which I was ahead of for like almost the entire time, like I had to keep it up because I was against Brian, who was it was even pretty much the entire time until
Yeah.
a lot of nerves for me, so that was helpful.
All right. Yeah, I think that sums it up well. So thanks for watching, everyone, on Speed Gaming. There are currently no matches scheduled for Speed Gaming for this tournament. We have a few matches left in the group stage, but we will soon progress to the double elimination, which starts next week. And surely we will have more matches on Speed Gaming. I think, Brian, you also like to do some commentary, and Smurfy will join as well, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
whenever
we
you
will
guys
have
need-
a match soon on Speed Gaming again. Alright,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
So yeah, that's it for now. Tune in next time if you enjoyed this match and the tournament itself. And join the community if you like. MarioKart64.com if you haven't heard about it. And that's really it. So see you guys. Bye bye.